What up, what up, what up, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Rain. Hope everybody's in good spirits, good health, man. Everybody enjoyed their holiday. It's a week after Thanksgiving, back to it, what I mean? Back to the regular schmegular. We gotta pay these bills out here, right? And things of that nature. So I did put a video out last night in reference to the Devin Haney vacating his belts. And, once again, salute to the boy Devin Haney for doing what he was supposed to do, man. Vacating those belts was the only right thing to do. If you don't plan on going back to a division, there's no reason to hold the division hostage and hold these belts and stop the division from moving forward. If you know that you're not coming back, then go ahead and vacate those belts. And that's what he did. But let's get deeper into this conversation, right? Because now that we know what's happened, and I went through, you can check out my video that I dropped last night, which breaks down the whole entire division now, as far as where the belts are going, who's fighting for the belts. I'll just give it to you real quick, real fast, just to say that, so we know that SHAKUR Stevens is now has been the WBC champion, because Devin did vacate that belt, even though he was in recess, whatever you want to say, but he was already fought for that vacant belt when he beat Del Santos. So GERVONTA Tank Davis, who was the regular WBA champion, is now going to be elevated to full super WBA champion. And then we have Lomachenko and Kambosos, who's going to fight in April, who are going to be now, from what I understand, fighting for that vacant IBF title. And as far as the WBO is, that's probably the most that's probably one that's really in the air, because the reality is Lomachenko is a number one. He's a number one mandatory in that weight class. But if he's fighting Kambosos already in Australia in April for the IBF, I'm pretty sure he's not going to take advantage of that mandatory, from what I could tell right now. And then obviously Isaac Cruz is in that conversation as well. But Isaac is trying to negotiate with, he's trying to get at Tank Davis. He's trying to get the rematch to get the payday, forget the belts, right? And obviously that makes the pot even sweeter, because now if he fights Tank Davis, not only does he get the money, but he also can fight for that WBA super lightweight championship belt. So I really just doubt Isaac Cruz hangs out in the WBO and fights, let's say, William Zepeda, you know what I mean? For that WBO title. I mean, even though that would be a great fight, him and William Zepeda, at the end of the day, the money he'd be missing out on fighting Gervonta, I don't know if that's what he'd want to do. So that's where the rankings are right now. So let's get deeper into this conversation of what this actually means. There's ramifications for everything, right? For every action, there's a reaction. So what's the reaction going on right now with the lightweight division? Well, things have opened up. And always when you're talking about the lightweight division, the big conversation is always Gervonta. Obviously, he's always part of the conversation. It's hard to talk about that division and not involve him in the conversation, being that he is the face of boxing and the cash cow of boxing right now, but definitely of the division. Even of the 140, even 140s are calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. He's that guy. So what does it mean now? Well, it means that unifications are opening up. Unification possibilities are opening up. Aspirations for being undisputed is also is opening up, and everybody who has legacy, who's legacy driven, has got to be excited right now for the way the division's looking, and as far as the excitement and of the opportunities that the division is offering them. But Devin Haney's left. He's gone to 140, and you guys heard Devin Haney talking about going to 147 to potentially fight a Keith Thurman. He called Keith Thurman out. From what I understand, Keith Thurman's really not interested in that fight, but money talks at the end of the day. But what does it really mean when we look at the trajectory of, when you look at Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis speaking about fighting each other? Devin Haney obviously calling out Gervonta constantly for years, trying to get that. Who isn't trying to get a fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, right? And Gervonta Tank Davis in recent interviews in the past year explained that Devin Haney's on the hit list and people that he wants to fight at this point in his career, that he's already built so much for himself as far as in boxing. As far as in boxing is concerned, he's already built so much for himself. So he's at this point looking for those legacy fights, those fights that everybody, all the people who were talking about, they wanted that smoke with him. He wants to, address those situations. Excuse me, I said Bill. And sometimes I think he want to knock Bill out, but no. But Devin Haney being close to the top of that list, being close to that top of that list. Well, now that Devin Haney's left 135 pounds and he's let the belts go, he's pretty much made a statement. And the statement that I believe he's making is that he will not be coming to 135 without a very, very, very lucrative deal on the table. And You know, you guys can say whatever you want to say. I've said it in old videos, and I'll continue saying it. When this fight between Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis takes place, there will be concession. I know people don't want to hear it. They want the conversation to be a one-sided conversation. They want it to be Gervonta Tank Davis is the A side of the conversation, and Devin Haney has to, you know, concede everything and do whatever Gervonta Tank Davis says to have this fight. Well, I believe this move that Devin Haney made speaks to no, I don't. He's basically saying, listen, man, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to go ahead. I'm already undisputed. I'm going to get a belt at 140, and then I'm going to run up to 147 and get a belt up there. And I'm going in the history books for who I am. You're going to go in the history books as the guy who never fought me, who never fought the fight that you had. I believe that's the narrative that Bill is pushing. I'm an unbiased dude. So for everybody who wants to turn this into I'm a Devin Haney fan or I'm a Gervonta Tank Davis fan, I don't get down with those antics that you guys do. This is a whole different fucking beast here. This whole different animal right here with Claymore. This is calling it right down the middle. This is what calling it down the middle looks like in real life. This has nothing to do with what you guys do, picking sides and looking for me to say something. Oh, now you're a Devin Haney fan, and before you know, when I start saying something about Gervonta Tank Davis, I'm two-faced and I'm jumping ship, and this is not what this is. So I doubt that'll change the trajectory of you guys' narrative. So I'm just saying it just so it's on record, not to change your mind, because I'm pretty sure you're going to do what you feel like doing anyway. So calling it down the middle, this is Devin Haney's play. Devin and Bill's play from where I stand is to go ahead and outprice themselves through weight, not through money, right? They're going to say, ultimately, when that fight comes on there, they're going to try their best to get Gervonta to come as far away from 135 as possible. Clearly, Gervonta won't be fighting at 147 to fight Devin Haney. He's not that desperate at all. But I'm pretty sure this is a good argument for them to come to the table and say, listen, we're going to have to fight at 140. Now, Gervonta may want to put in weight restrictions and rehydration clauses as far as, you know, what Devin can and can't do. But this move that Devin Haney, for me, pretty much ensures that this fight doesn't happen at 135 between Devin and Tank, that this fight will happen around 140. Now, the game is a double-edged blade, because Devin, while Devin's playing these games and dragging out these negotiations, his competition is done leveled up, and him remaining undefeated or being that phenom that he was at 135 isn't guaranteed for him to be at 140 or 147. The 140 division is full of punches, a lot of punches. Subriel Matias, William Zepeda, you got Teofimo there. You know what I'm saying? And this is just off the top of my head. If I pull the list up, I'm sure it'll be even more transparent. Richard Hitchinson, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot more competition down there at 140. And it's going to be difficult to maintain the energy and maintain the status that Devin had at 135. That's why this fight with Regis is a very important fight, because at the end of the day, we're going to get the taste or an understanding of who the new Devin Haney is. Is he the power puncher? Is he the guy who's going to, because you're going to need power. Once you get into these weight classes, you know, having the skills is one thing, is one part of the conversation, but actually, power starts to become an issue when you start to fight against these power punchers, because if you don't have something to make them honest, to keep them honest, they're going to be on your bumper, man. You know, they're going to be trying to walk you down. And if they can take your shots and your shots aren't making them honest, it can get very complicated, to say the least, especially with that level of competition. In my opinion, I think there's so much at 140 for Devin Haney to do, and if he really wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, I see no reason for him to try to go up to 147, because now you're going to go up to 147, get success up there, and Roy Jones suffered from this, right? Moving up in weight and coming down in weight, moving up in weight and coming down in weight, ultimately took a toll on him physically, and he wasn't able to compete at the same level he was when he was just consistently that middleweight guy. You know what I mean? So it's a double-edged blade. Devin Haney carrying this energy does make a statement in the long term of the negotiations. It does open it up more to where we know now, in my opinion, that this fight doesn't happen at 135. And if this fight does happen at 135, oh yes, Devin Haney is going to be so depleted, it won't even be fair. Gervonta will run through him, because you don't put your body through what Devin Haney's put his body through, and just keep your power and keep your health, and you know what I mean? Like, it gets crazy, it gets complicated. So that's what I see. The big picture here is Devin Haney running from Gervonta, or Devin Haney. This is a Devin Haney negotiation tactic, leverage tactic, strategically doing this indirectly and directly responding and dealing with the negotiations going with Gervonta Tank Davis. That's the big fight. That's the big payday. He doesn't want to go back to 135. I knew that from the beginning. He was never going back to 135. And I mean, and that's honestly, I understand that. That makes sense. If you're going to fight somebody like Gervonta Tank Davis or Shakur Stevens, if you're going to fight these big fights, these mega fights, you don't want to be depleted in these fights. You want to give your best opportunity to win these fights, which is you being completely replenished at your peak state, where you're your strongest, where you're your healthiest. Is Devin Haney strongest and healthiest weight class 147? Time will tell that story. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's a big boy, man. He's a big boy, so we'll see. But I think December 9th, that's going to be a big telling fight about what we can see for Devin Haney's future. And once again, Gervonta Tank Davis in that lightweight division now, he may jump off all of a sudden, because I know he's been selling this idea that he don't care about belts, that belts don't mean nothing. But don't be surprised if you see Gervonta become all strap season Gervonta Tank Davis, because it becomes way more realistic right now, because now the belts aren't held by one person, and that person has all the leverage, is making negotiations weird. Now Shakur Stevenson fighting Gervonta Tank Davis becomes way more realistic now, because it puts Gervonta in a position right now to start his journey on becoming undisputed at lightweight, which would definitely solidify him into the history books as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, lightweight fighter or champion of all time. Because I mean, he has a resume that we can't deny. He adds belts to that. He adds those accolades and those accomplishments. He decorates himself with these belts and becomes undisputed. Well, now it just makes it even sweeter. And in all honesty, if Devin is able to carry out his responsibility in the 140-pound division and become unified over there, or God forbid undisputed, then we're talking about mega fight opportunities for Gervonta to go up to 140 and fight Devin Haney and be undisputed versus undisputed, and Gervonta being able to cement his legacy as a two-weight class undisputed champion. I mean, it can get crazy, right? So you guys let me know what you think. That's my take on it right now. I am still putting out an official video a little bit later on the subject, where we can get a little deeper into the conversation possibly. I don't know. This video might have did it too, right? This video might have did it. I gave a lot of information and a lot of my perspective on this video. But you guys let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, share. It's your boy Rain, and this is ATP Combat Media Show. Talk to you soon. Bye.
They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that